Welcome everyone to another live stream. My name is Hazik, and today we're going to be taking a look once again at some altcoins. We'll briefly talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we'll try to keep it nice and short so that we can include as much information as possible. One second. All right. So if you have any altcoins you want me to take a look at, let me know down below in the comments. In the meantime, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin's chart here. Nothing has changed much since yesterday. It is possible we're going to run into, actually, okay, this should work nicer. Okay, so we're back on the weekly, and this is, as you can see on this chart, we added a bunch of Fibonacci retracements for each cycle, and we were tracking where does the price reach in terms of the blow off top. So in the first cycle that we had here well, we can discount the 2013-2012 bull market, but let's say the bull market from 2015 into 2017, the end of 2017, we had that massive rally, and we set up a Fibonacci from the bear market bottom in 2015 to the top in 2013, and the price action reached way past the 2.272, and the 1.618 was way down here. Okay, so then we printed another bear market bottom. That was December 2018, and then we started pumping once again, and we applied another fib, and this blue line over here that you can see, that's the 1.618. That's this line essentially. So we got perfectly to the 1.618 in 2021 in March and in November. From there, we saw another crash, bear market bottom in December, November 2022. From there, we started pumping, and now we applied another fib from that bottom to that top, and the 1.618 is exactly what we're looking at. If we take a look at the RSI on the weekly, we're starting to recover a little bit. We're breaking past the 20 EMA on the Bitcoin weekly chart. We discussed that briefly yesterday. That is a good sign. However, we need to see closures, a few closures above that, because we had a few fake outs back in 2024 when we were trying to break above the 20 EMA. So hopefully we can hold the 20 EMA as support for a few weeks, and then we can continue this rally. Of course, the most important thing is breaking past the all-time high prices. So we have a resistance here at 96,000 that we're running into, the 1.272, and then we have the 1.414 at 117,000. Okay, so these are our macro targets. We can also apply a smaller fib to this fractal so that we can see what are some other targets we can take a look at. So the 1.618 from this fractal, so from the bottom in April 2025 to the top in December 2024, we have $125,000 Bitcoin as our technical target. That's the 1.618 on this chart. So this is how you can add many more targets along the way. If you have a few macro targets, you can add some micro targets with these smaller Fibonacci's, and you can see where some Fibonacci levels line up. Therefore, that would give you more confluence. So that's the brief breakdown for Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere, even if we have another correction, let's say back down to these lows at $75,000, which of course isn't out of the question. Then I would be 100% certain that Bitcoin is going to bounce back up. There's lots of demand. Supply crunch is coming. Institutions are buying in. The hype is everywhere for Bitcoin, and we're hoping for that to transfer over into the altcoin market. Speaking of the altcoins, let's take a look at the top 10 and top 20 coins. Everything's doing pretty much the exact same thing it was doing yesterday. No major changes. Solana sitting at around 149, just like yesterday. Let me know if you guys got your Pi coins, if you were able to withdraw them from the application and move them onto the mainnet. I've been waiting for like 2 months for my tokens to be approved from the mainnet or approved onto the mainnet, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Bitensor sitting at a $352 here, $3 billion market cap. So these three coins here, Bitensor, Near Protocol, and Ondo, really strong projects in my opinion. I think Ondo is going to lead the RWA narrative. And Near Protocol is a very strong layer 1 AI, or AI layer 1, you could say. Let's see if there's anything that stands out. Cosmos, it's still below $5. I did take profits on my Cosmos at, when did I sell my Cosmos? Let's take a look. Because it was underperforming and I wanted to switch over to something that would be a little more risky but would perform very well. So I sold my Cosmos at $10.32 back in December. So I was up 40% on that trade. And we essentially held the coins for since June 2022. We were accumulating Cosmos. All right, let's see. Injective, I think Injective is a massive play here. They just added, I think they just added the gold and silver spot trading through their platform. Let me see. Let's go on to their Twitter page. So 2 months ago, Injective launched a native asset tokenization framework. This framework allows users to tokenize real-world assets, and so they're into the RWA narrative as well. There was a news I saw recently. Where they essentially moved gold and silver on chain. Maybe I'm imagining things. So by January 2024, the entire initial supply of Injective was 100% circulating, marking a significant milestone for the community. In fact, Injective is one of the only major layer 1 networks with fully circulating total supply. That's another major thing. I really like their tokenomics, and now the tokens have been fully out for more than a year. So it is possible, I imagine this thing about them adding gold into, but there we go. So that's the total supply, that's the circulating supply. Maybe it's not up to date here on the CoinMarketCap, but that's Injective for you. So let's see what else I can snipe out here from the top 100. Helium is setting up partnerships after partnership. So definitely look into Helium, a strong Solana project, a strong Deepin project. Virtuals is pumping again. So if you're looking to get into some of these AI agents that have already started pumping, I would just say be careful. You don't want to buy into something that's about to see a retracement. Yeah, and then of course the meme coins, my opinion on them hasn't changed. You shouldn't be buying into meme coins, and you should not be spending your money on gambling essentially. But of course, not financial advice as always. Now Radium here is back above $3, which is quite impressive. We saw Radium crashing down to, I believe it was $1.20, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, $1.45. So this was our entry for Radium. I believe we did a TA on Radium. So if we go to my channel here and you go to the uploads, so we did a Radium video around a month ago. And let's see. Yeah, so as you can see, we covered this support block. We gave you that support block, and if you paid attention, if you were stacking up Radium at around $1.50 to 70 cents, you're doing really good right now. So that's just to show you that we did cover Radium, and those who are paying attention to the charts, to the videos, and that are doing their own research, they're able to get these really good bottom prices. So from the absolute bottom of that retracement, we're now up approximately 124% on Radium, which is great. Hopefully some of you bought into Radium. And of course, we'll take a look at your requests, guys. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to point out a few coins here from the top 100, top 20, top 100-ish. And then if you would like to check out our Patreon, feel free to do so. The link is going to be down below in the description. If you haven't already, there's a 7-day free trial. You can get access to all of our content. We have more than 1,000 posts with our portfolios, with a podcast series that we're doing on Patreon, with TAs, with low cap gem reviews. We've done more than 100 low cap gem videos on Patreon, so feel free to take a look at that. This is going to be a whale wallet that I'll keep an eye on. We were tracking him. We looked at his portfolio yesterday and the transfers that he's had. So he essentially moved 44,000 Bitcoin in 2019, and he has held them there ever since. So if this person starts selling some of their Bitcoin, then it is possible that they do have some insider information, or they're just trying to dump. So if you see a lot of whales starting to dump, that's when you want to, consider taking profits as well. Now, this is by Checkmate from Twitter. We have never seen this before. We have never had a global Bitcoin supply crunch. And he says he's bullish. This is coming from Dennis Porter, and it was retweeted by Checkmate, who is a very good Bitcoin analyst, on-chain analyst. So this is the exchange balance. So the orange moving average is the orange line is the exchange balance. So it's dropping, and this is actually crazy. We're dropping back down to our 2018 values, which is crazy. So the balance on exchanges is dropping significantly while the price continues to rise. This obviously shows that we have a lot more people who are moving Bitcoin off of centralized exchanges onto cold storage. And there's, of course, some people that are switching to ETFs, which is understandable. Some people don't want to, take care or have to look out for their Bitcoin. They want someone else to do that for them. They feel safer that way, and that's completely understandable. And that's in fact how we're going to get this mainstream adoption, because a lot of the big boys, they don't want to have a cold storage and hide the USB flash drive somewhere and then have to access it through some weird techie way. They just want to have the money through an ETF. They want to have Bitcoin through the ETF, and everything's being taken care of, so they don't have to do anything on their own. That's the way the rich boys like to play, because there's no reason for them to, to have these cold storages and so on. So that's really bullish. And next up, we have another hint from Michael Saylor talking about buying more Bitcoin. So it's possible tomorrow he's going to have an announcement that he bought more Bitcoin. So he says, stay humble and stack sats. So this is usually we have a correction when there's an announcement that Bitcoin strategy is buying or MicroStrategy is buying. So we'll see if we have a retracement when the markets open on Monday, but it is definitely possible. So maybe if we have a retracement, have some of your USDT, USDC ready on the sidelines in case you want to buy into some of your altcoins. And CZ here says, I hope you bought the dip. CZ Binance. Is that him? No, that's him. He's still promoting Binance though. BNB chain drives Q1 growth through lending, stablecoins, and burns. I was under the impression that he was not a part of the Binance team anymore, but I assume he's like a advisor or something. But your face when you go to prison for a few months and then go back to your billions of dollars that you laundered. I mean, that's the name of the game. Anyway, let's switch over to your requests. Let's see what you guys are asking for. So Roz is asking for Harmony One. By the way, Roz, I didn't send you a message yesterday, so I appreciate you joining our Patreon. I'm going to send you a message tomorrow or today, and if you have a request for a Patreon video, definitely let me know. And you're looking at Harmony One. So Harmony One has been very, very underwhelming in this cycle. Let me go back to the daily chart just for a second to see if this, so for the most part, this is set up on the daily. So we're going to switch back to the daily. So what is happening with Harmony One? So we have a bunch of retests off of this support and off of this resistance here. So what you can do, generally speaking, you add this block here, and then you sell when it reaches the top, you buy when it reaches the bottom, and that would have worked out for you so far. And we've been retesting this lower range between 0.00778 all the way up to 0.01, essentially to 1 cent. So I think I'm going to have to change this up a little bit because it's not breaking past its highs. We're not seeing a lot of bullish momentum for Harmony One. And I think that is one of the major reasons for that is token inflation. So we're going to take a look at the token inflation for Harmony One, and we're going to tidy up this chart a little bit. So this block is going to be your buying range, wherever you want to buy, between 0.0078 up to a cent or so. Okay, and then we have this blue resistance block that has been keeping us down a few times here. As you can see, we have some rejections. And then here we have the upper resistance block between 0.048 down to 0.033. So that is a block that we have, and that's the second resistance, okay? And this is based on previous touches from June 2021, from February 2021, and from May 2022. So there was a lot of bounces in this range. That's why, every time we start coming back up, we get rejected from those levels. And we highlighted some of these rejections here. I can highlight a few more. So that was another rejection. That was a rejection there. So it's essentially a sideways channel. You're going up and down. And right now we just saw a bounce off of this support there, and we're up 66% on Harmony One. And your ideal situation here would be to take profits when you get back up to around 3 cents. You want to sell your Harmony One and be done with it if you got in here. But that's only if you want to get involved with Harmony. Personally, I would stay away from something that has been underperforming. Now, granted, we haven't dropped below the support of the August and the September 2023 bottoms. So this was August 2024. This is your September 2023 bottoms. So we haven't really dropped below that. We haven't created a lower low, which is really important. You want to see at least a bounce off of the exact same support. And that's exactly what we're seeing for Harmony. So is it possible for things to turn around? It is, right? I can't tell you 100% that we're not going to break past this resistance, but once we have the breakout, we want to see a back test of support and a really strong move to the upside. Now, if we do break past the upper resistance block here past 5 cents, I don't think we're going to be coming back up to retest the all-time high prices. And let's take a look at why that is the case. So this is cryptorank.io, and we're taking a look at Harmony. Okay, so 99.7 is out in circulation, and let's see what we have over here for Harmony 1. So let's go to our token unlocks. Now, so there's still some token unlocks that are happening, but it's nothing major. Nothing major. And this is the reason why there was a lot of this is the reason why we're not going to get back up to the same all-time high prices, because of the token dilution. So let's take a look at the all-time high market cap for Harmony 1. So that was around $4.13 billion. Okay. Now, if we go to the coin perspective and let's calculate the market cap for Harmony 1 again. The all-time high price was at around 35 cents. Okay, so 35 cents was around $4 billion market cap for Harmony 1, 4.1, whatever it was. So now if we go to Harmony 1. And let's say the price is going to be 35 cents. Wait, that's not 35 cents. So market cap of 5, it's going to be 5.1 billion. So $5 billion market cap. So it's $1 billion higher. So it's actually not as crazy as I thought it would be, because the dilution for some other projects is crazy. Like the market cap would have to be 3 times the market cap of the previous all-time high, but it's actually not that bad for Harmony 1. The question you want to ask right now is, do you believe Harmony 1 can get to a $5 billion market cap? Personally, I would say that's not very likely. Seeing how Harmony 1 is performing, getting back up to 35 cents, I think that is highly unlikely. That's 3,000% to the upside, around a 31x. Around a 30x rather, 2,900%. I just don't think that's a possibility. I would bet on other coins instead of this one. So if you want to be safe with Harmony 1, you can get out at around 0.022 up to 0.026. You can target this middle resistance block, or you can wait until you get to the upper resistance block. Let's take a look at eGold. eGold is one of the coins that I held previously, but I ended up taking profits. So we got into eGold a long time ago. We got into it in August 2022, and we kept dollar cost averaging for a long time. The last purchase was in September 2023, and I ended up selling at $43. So I got out with 27% profit, essentially. Now, why did I do that? Because it was underperforming against everything else. And what happened here is actually pretty bearish. This is what hasn't happened yet on Harmony 1's chart, but it has already happened on eGold's chart. So we are seeing a pump of approximately 71% from this bottom here, and we lost the bear market bottom for eGold. That is a massive red signal. I'm not going to lie. However, that doesn't mean we can't see a pump, and once the altcoin season is in full throttle mode, that doesn't mean eGold is not going to pump. That simply means if we're targeting these all-time high prices, with each passing day, it's less and less likely we're going to be sitting at $500, $400 by the end of this cycle. So just to be safe, I would target this resistance block that we have here from $63 up to $73 because we had a lot of run-ins with that exact level. So here in 2021, we had a backtest of support. We had a backtest of resistance, resistance test, and then here in December 2024, we didn't even get up to that block. We got rejected before that. So we're printing lower lows here and lower highs. And that is not a good sign. That is definitely not a good sign. So let's see what happens. What I would need to see from Eagle in order to flip bullish is for us to break past the white resistance trend line here that has been keeping us down for a little while. And I want to see a break past $56, an aggressive break past that level. Then we might start talking about potential break of $70, $80 range. This is the RSI. We're still very low. So if you're looking to take profits, eyeball the overbought range, which is going to be somewhere in here. So that's going to be the overbought range for Eagle. And then if you're looking to get into Eagle right now, I would say this is still pretty cheap, although it is a, we did go up 48%, but it's not that much yet. So you can definitely get into Eagle and ride it out if you want to do that, of course. You don't have to. There are other altcoins to look at. $482 million market cap. Let's say this does a 10x, gets to 4.8 billion. We get to $170. That would be really good for, for a blow off top for Eagle, and at this point in time, because it has been underperforming. So $170 is going to be really good. And Dimitris, we looked at Eagle, so hopefully you guys have really good entries into Eagle, and hopefully if you are planning to hold it long term, you dollar cost averaged. Can you please check OLV, brother? Invested for the bull run. What's my chances? Nice to see you live again. Tamer, welcome back. Always great to have you. So Illuvium is a gaming project. Alex Becker mentions it a lot. I don't think he bought into Illuvium. I'm not sure. But it's listed on every single exchange you can imagine, so it's not going to be hard getting your hands on this. Due to its yield reward mechanism, there is a difference between how CoinMarketCap and the Illuvium team calculate circulating supply. CMC tracks circulating supply on the basis of assets that are minted from the vesting contract, whereas the Illuvium team regards claimed but unminted assets to be circulating. So the market cap would be higher with the Illuvium's calculation. I would say just stick with the CoinMarketCap calculation. It doesn't really matter that much. So the vesting has been concluded for Illuvium, January 2025. So 97% is unlocked, 2% is untracked. Okay, and obviously massive correction from this 1700 price in 2021. The supply was very low. The supply of coins was extremely low at that point. That is exactly why we were able to see that high price. Now let's take a look at Illuvium. Trying to find the overall chart, but I can't. What if I do Illuvium? It's not showing up. All right. So we're just going to do the Binance chart, and that should be good enough for us. I haven't charted this in a little while. So this is the same fib that we placed way back when we were doing a TA during a live stream, I believe, for Illuvium. So what happened here is we dropped towards our second fib level. So the fib held up very nicely. If you paid attention to our TA, you set up the fib, you looked at the correction, and you saw it happening live. You could have been dollar cost averaging at the 1.414, at the 1.618, and now at the second fib level, at the capitulation target for Illuvium. So what I'm seeing next here is a potential move back up towards this range at $37 and a rejection from there. Because it was a massive support level in the past, now it flipped to resistance. It's possible we're going to get rejected when we move back up there. Another resistance level to keep in mind is the 20 EMA here, the weekly 20 EMA. We dropped below that in December 2024, and we almost dropped into the oversold on the weekly RSI, but we haven't done that yet. So we're recovering here. Great buying opportunity for Illuvium. Even if you didn't buy at $10, $15 is a great buy, but only in the case that you're bullish on the project long term, because this is not a good sign. Why? Because we dropped below the bear market bottom. So we dropped once in October, then we started recovering, and then once again we dropped below the October 2024 bottom. So that is not a very good sign, because you're constantly losing your major support levels, and to be honest, you don't want to be doing that if you're in a bull market. So the fib played out perfectly. Now it's only a question of demand and hype. The gaming sector hasn't performed as well as people have thought it would. Maybe the time hasn't arrived yet. It's possible we're going to get another wave of gaming hype with AI gaming, and we're going to have AI RWA, we're going to have AI AI meme coins. That already happened. So I think AI will integrate into the gaming sector, and there will be another niche popping up, the gaming AI niche, and we're going to have a bunch more gaming projects listing, and some of the old ones are going to pump, obviously. My suggestion is not to be too overexposed to the gaming sector in this cycle, and only pick a few winners you think are going to perform extremely well. They're going to outperform everything else. Like 2 to 3 projects, that's it. Everything else, you should be focused on layer ones, on AI projects, on blue chips. You could go for Chainlink, Bitcoin, even buy some Ethereum, SUI, but definitely don't be overexposed to gaming. Of course, not financial advice. Now, if we set up a Fibonacci from the supposed bottom here in March 2025, if this isn't our bottom, then so be it. But we're just taking a look at this as an example in case we have bottomed. We're going to be potentially looking at $287 if we manage to break past our March 2024 top. So from where we are right now, that is almost a 19x. Almost a 19x. So yeah, the risk to reward right now is definitely better than it was, throughout 2024, because you're very low. So the chances of us going back even lower are not that high. So that's going to be it for Illuvium. All right. So let's switch over to, we'll be more profitable than More than 150. Yeah, so I would say 150 is a good area to take profits at, of course. You want to be selling on your way up, especially when we're getting closer and closer to the blow-off top for this cycle. So you can set up a few targets, right? You have $68.70, which is a local top here. You have $140 local top here. Then you can do around $200 here. And then you can do 250 and then 286, which is potentially going to be our blow-off top if we manage to break through the high over here. Doggy May. What is that? Oh my god, it's a meme coin. Okay. It's a meme coin that's listed on Coinbase. That's interesting. So this meme coin has been trading since April last year, so around a year. I mean, let's take a look at the website. Let's see what utility they're bringing. Dog in May came to life in February 2024 when Farcaster found Dane Romero was asked if he owned a dog. Okay, so it essentially brings 0 value. That's very surprising. So essentially what this guy's saying is, I want you to buy my meme coin and I want to rug pull on you. Well, no, I'm not saying it's a rug pull, but I think meme coins are just a waste of money, and most people are going to lose buying into meme coins. Most people are going to lose buying into crypto in general. But then when you turn it into full-on gambling with meme coins, I mean, that's where people... So this person is saying strategically withdrawing their funds top holders. I mean, you can verify that for yourself. Again, I don't recommend you believe what people say here on the right side in the comment section, but sometimes it's good to read through in case they mention something important, and then you can go on your own and you can research whatever it is they mentioned. Okay, so let's go through some other requests that we have. Veracity. I do own Veracity, but unfortunately, the crash has been brutal. We don't have a Binance listing. We don't have a Coinbase listing. We don't have BitGet. We don't have Kraken. We don't have Gate, I think. Do we have Gate? I don't think we have Gate. Yeah, there's no Gate. Oh, actually, we do have Gate. There's the Gate listing. So I'm hoping for this to recover, and let's actually take a look at the chart. Let's see what we're going to be looking at here in terms of the price. $13 million market cap. So that was a support block we were targeting. We lost our bear market bottoms. So that was not a good thing. Definitely not a good thing here for Veracity. So I'm going to be looking into probably getting rid of this coin. What's my entry point? I mean, it's not horrible, but I'm definitely going to try to get out of this, because if it's not going to start performing very well very quickly, we're already losing the bear market bottoms. It's possible it's going to be underperforming against other coins. So we'll see. And then this resistance level here has been keeping us down for a long time. So since February 2023, then another retest in November, same year, then a move above that trend line. We failed to hold it as support, and we have this massive crash. So you had this massive crash of 86%, okay? Then you went up 280%, And we have another 88% drop. That is not looking very good. Although this is what happens with low caps in crypto, but if it continues in this manner, it's not going to look too good. It already isn't looking too good in terms of the chart here. Now, let's say they have a Binance listing out of nowhere. This thing can skyrocket and, potentially get to 1.5 cents to 2 cents. Very possible, of course. If that's what you're betting on, if you want to wait until a major centralized exchange listing, you can do that, of course, by all means. But if it doesn't happen, then you're stuck with that coin, and you have to deal with the consequences. Let me take a look at VRA on CryptoRank. This is a good way to verify the circulating supply, and I believe they burned 50% of their supply as well. Let's take a look at their Twitter. Platinum sponsor of WebEx Asia. So they're going to be in a press conference in Tokyo. Strena AI. So they're setting up a lot of partnerships. They've been doing that for a very long time. So in that regard, they're doing well. They have engagement, and they're out there. Their marketing is pretty good, but I would say they need to go for a big centralized exchange listing to have a really, really good blow off top in this cycle. But of course, if the team doesn't want that, let's say they're just focusing in on their technology, right, and they don't really care about what the price is going to do in the cycle, that's a possibility. They don't want to get a listing on a top exchange yet. That's a possibility. I haven't really seen anything from the team recently. I should watch some interviews probably. But yeah, that's it for Veracity. So again, risk to reward is really good right now, just like it is with Harmony and Eagled. You're dropping to very low points on the chart. So buying when it's very low is much better, because if you buy high, right, if you bought the December 2024 pump here, then your risk to reward was not that good because you were already very overextended. Now here, you're oversold. So this is where you should be buying. All right, so last but not least, Elorm. Hello, my friend. Manta Network. So another token that I hold, but unfortunately, it has been underperforming. I believe I have Manta somewhere here. There we go. Yeah, so just a continuous drop for Manta. Yeah, continuous correction for Manta. No reversal of the trend in that I'm seeing here. I think we even need that at this point. And again, all of the altcoins that I'm showing you, they can get better. Things can change, obviously, very quickly. However, at the moment, I'm just giving you what I think about the charts. If they have a listing tomorrow and they do a 5x out of nowhere, great. I'd be happy for that. But at the moment, things aren't looking very good. And I do hold Manta. Okay, so we had a massive pump here in terms of the relative strength index. In terms of the price, 58% pump. And this is the channel down pattern. Usually, channel down patterns are broken to the upside. Crypto Princess, how are you doing? How are you doing? Let me know if you want me to take a look at a coin for you. So a break to the upside here would potentially create some sort of a pump, right? We might have a pump, some volume coming in, maybe some people would like to exit at certain prices. What we can do here is I can add a block. I'm going to slightly edit the one that we had already. And this is going to be our resistance block. So we had a few bounces off of that level before. And this range is between 55 to 62 cents. So that's a potential scenario we're going to be looking at, is a rejection off of the golden block there in the middle. Okay. And then a break to the upside, potentially taking us, and we could retest $1.32, maybe. But in terms of breaking new all-time high prices, I don't know. I honestly do not know. It's hard to say, because when the chart is doing something like this, I can't really go out of my way to be a perma bull for no reason and say, yes, this thing is definitely going to $2.50 to $5, as much as I would like that. So we need to see certain things playing out first, and then we can start building on top of that. So let's see if we can start breaking some of these smaller resistance levels, okay? And then if things go well, if they continue going well, if we're able to break past this resistance block, the first one that we're going to be looking at, then hopefully things are going to be looking good for the future for Manta. And I think this is one of the problems with the project, is that it's got a lot of token unlocks as well. And this is a VC heavy project as well. So the VCs are obviously going to be taking profits. %41 is out in circulation. And let's go to the vesting schedule. So you can see it's going to be a pretty aggressive vesting schedule, guys. Pretty aggressive. So by the end of 2025, we're going to be sitting at 56% unlocked. At the moment, we're only sitting at 44. So it is pretty aggressive, the unlock schedule. So even if we do get back up to the same market cap value of the project, that doesn't mean that we're going to be sitting at the same price, which is something you have to understand. But we already have a Binance listing. Maybe a listing on Coinbase would make things a little bit better. Maybe a listing on BitGet. I don't think we have BitGet here. But that's going to be it for this live stream. Thank you all for joining. As always, appreciate all the support. Feel free to check out our Patreon. The link is going to be down below in the description. In case you haven't, engaged with our Patreon, we have a 7-day free trial. You can get access to all of our content for absolutely free for 7 days. You can get access to my portfolios. You can get access to our podcast series, and essentially go through everything, engage in a Telegram patrons chat with a bunch of other people that have been in the markets for a very long time. So I want to thank you all for watching this live stream. Leave a comment down below. Stay safe and goodbye.